I'm Andrew Fitchett and I'm an artist. Artists do numerous things like make sculptures, installations. For me, I paint pictures. My average working day would be breakfast, the same as everybody else, and then luckily a short walk down the garden to my studio. So I work from home, but not in the house. Mostly I'll spend 8 hours a day working on a painting if there's one on the go. If not, I'll spend my time out and about in the landscape, towns, wherever, looking for inspiration and ideas. When I'm out, I often make sketches and I bring those back to the studio, and that's where I develop them into paintings. When I was at school, I loved English, geography particularly, history and art. I think English because I always loved stories, and in many ways my artwork includes a kind of a narrative or a storytelling. So I've taken that love of English and I've incorporated some of that storytelling into painting. I'm left-handed, so whenever I wrote anything, I smudged it. And when you paint, it doesn't matter which side of the canvas or paper you start. So I kind of leant towards that. And I'm dyslexic as well. So I found that when I read, the words jumped around on the page. So again, that kind of pushed me towards painting because I didn't have that problem with painting. When I left school, I decided that the best thing I could do would be getting a job that involved drawing. And I came across a career called graphic design, which involves designing everything from packaging for food, music industry record covers, newspapers, magazine layouts, posters. Anything you see that's in print basically is created by a graphic designer. And I worked for a number of years as a graphic designer in London. I later moved on to work in advertising, in an advertising agency, working as an art director with a copywriter. So the way that worked was that my partner wrote the words and I created the images. I reached the point where I really wanted to start producing my own work. And it was a bit of a challenge to start with because it's a big transition. You're essentially, when you become a painter, producing your own work, you're running your own business. But my experience in advertising, how to promote things and sell things, turned out to be rather useful as a painter. The kind of things that inspire my work are really varied. It might be some words in a song, something from a book I've read, a landscape that I've visited, people I've met. It's really, really broad. A common feature in most of my paintings, or a lot of my paintings, are birds. I often put birds in my paintings. At the moment, I'm working on a series of paintings from a visit to North Wales in the winter. So they're quite dark, moody images and often involve heavy skies and quite bleak landscapes. But for me, there's a kind of beauty in the bleakness of the landscape. It's a place where you don't actually see that many people. So there's a nice sense of isolation about the place. I walk there for hours, and during those walks, I make lots of drawings of things that I see. The task I'm going to set you is to make a drawing of some objects that will be in the center of your table. This is called observational drawing, and that means that we look closely at the objects on our table and we find ways of drawing them as accurately as possible so that they look as much like the actual things that you're looking at as possible. We'll work through some techniques that will help you do that and make an accurate drawing. And those techniques will include ways of measuring the objects so that you get their sizes right, introducing some structural lines to the drawing so that you can work out the relationships between one object and another, how far away they are from each other. And we'll look at the shapes and the spaces that are made by the objects as well. And finally, we'll look at how lightness and darkness can enhance the way the objects look. After that, I'd like you to take those skills that we learn and apply them to making your own painting or drawing of something that's of importance to you, that tells something of a story or reminds you of a story of something that happened.